Today I fully automate all of the Applied Energistics 2 processes to build a massive storage system. I also build a mud farm, a tanker that collects and delivers lava, and I even install my very own data pack. I wonder what that will do. Let's create. In the last video I built this gargantuan storage facility, and the idea is that this is going to be absolutely full to the brim with everything I need to produce all of the stuff from Applied Energistics 2, so that this can be the place where I store literally all of my items. And it's absolutely chock full of rooms ready to have all of those things put in, but quite frustratingly it's so big and it's such a maze, it's pretty difficult to get around. And my idea here is to have an elevator that goes all the way up. But I've got another idea too. You see, I don't really know what to do with all of these diagonally rooms that come along here, especially this front one that's sort of the front facing one of the building. I was thinking just some sort of reception area or something like that, but decorating in diagonal rooms is difficult because blocks don't naturally sit in a diagonal, and you can't really make tables and benches and things easily on a diagonal with framed blocks. Now, I could use mechanical bearings and things to actually skew them at an angle like we've done before. However, I thought this room might be better served as a teleportation room. A teleportation room? Yeah, teleportation room, where it's got full of teleporters that take you all around the building and maybe other areas as well. And looking at these waystones, we've been building the normal waystone, which is relatively easy to do, but I kind of want to make these warp plates, which need warp dust, which is amethyst shard and ender pearls. And we can get plenty of the ender pearls from our villager, and I've got loads of amethyst now. And the reason I want to make warp plates is because with those, you don't need to click on them, you just stand on them and you go somewhere. Or at least I think that's how they work. Let's go find out. Did you always look like that, Michael? You've changed, you have. Right, anyway, I need all your ender pearls, mate. As many as you'll give me. 12, really? I really got to wait for more. Well, while I'm waiting, I might as well go over to our other area and see how much nether wart we've got in stock, because it would be quite good. Oh, 57,000 of it, that's good. You see, I'd like to have a whole bunch of this in stock so that I can trade it with Michael and claim back a few of the emeralds he keeps taking off me for all these ender pearls. Why don't you go to the end and build an enderman farm? Well, I will soon, just not today. I didn't want to go here. No, thank you. Take as much of this as you want. I've got nearly 60,000 of it, Michael. Another thing I'm very short of now is glowstone dust. So I'm going to buy a bunch of glowstone from him as well. Well, that should be more than enough ender pearls to get us going. So let's head back over to our temporary AE2 area, scooch over to the little amethyst farm and grab a bunch of this. Oh, and what? Look at that. We've got loads of that now, so I'll take all of that. That must be... Wow, we've got over 131,000 Certus quartz now as well. So yeah, this is going well, although that is going to be moving to the new building very soon. So anyway, I mentioned glowstone dust and how I've hardly got any of it. See these coloured bands around all of these buildings? Not just on the outside bits here, but also on the inside. Everywhere you see a coloured band like that, or around the bottom of these, have all been touched with glowstone dust. They're framed blocks, and if you use a glowstone dust on a framed block, it becomes a light. And that means these are now neon strips, keeping the entire area nice and light, because this entire thing was a big mob spawner as I was building it, and it became very irritating. Anyway, warp plates. I don't know how much we'll need, so let's make 32. So if I make a warp plate then and pop it down, how does it work? A tune shard. Bring this shard to another warp plate. Okay, oh, so do I need to make 2 of these then? So if I've got one of those there, do I click on it with it? Warp plate is not bound to another warp plate. Insert this shard into another warp plate. Oh, there we go. Oh, so it takes a second. But yeah, you can just basically hop from one thing to another without having to interact in any sort of way. There's a lot of effects going on there, but it's kind of handy. And after a bit of fiddling about, I think something like this should work. We've got access to all of the different colours, and it doesn't look too awful even on a slant. We could just walk into any of these and we'll be able to teleport once they're connected. I think that'll work lovely. I've just got to do the same on this side for all of the other ones. So now all of the warp plates are in place and everything is linked up except for this very last one. So I've just got to do the black section. So I grab those, I take that out of there, put that one in there, hop over to the dark grey section, hop out of the cupboard just there, and then I just need to go into the black section here, head into the cupboard, throw that down, put that in there, and then I should be able to just hop straight back. There we go. So they all just take me to whichever section I want to go. So let's go to lime green, and I just hop out the cupboard at lime green. Oh, that's excellent. And the other thing about these, although I think it might be a bit cheaty, is that you can send items through them as well. That could come in useful for something in the future. Long-range item teleportation to any dimension. So now I just need probably a little bit of decoration in here and maybe some signs when I actually know what's going to be going in each one of the rooms. And I think that's kind of what I want to do next. I want to get all of this stuff over there, and I definitely 100% want to get these farms over there, but those farms are not going to run unless we've got power over there. So let's hop back over to the new building. Let's go to the light blue section, which is over here, which is where our power station's going to be. Come out of the cupboard, go down here, and then we need to think about how we're going to offload the lava into here and then have a big old boiler system in here to actually produce the power, and then how we're going to get the power out of there through into the rest of this building. And I'm not going to be running power as in create power in here. This building is going to be the only one in the world that's going to be 100% AE2 other than the create power station. But you've seen me build power stations a whole bunch of times, so I think I'll get this basically set up and then we'll work on getting the lava over here. If you're enjoying this video, then consider hitting that subscribe button. It only takes a second and it really helps me out. Power is just about in place now. I've got a steam engine which has got water and lava being pumped in from underneath, although we've got no lava yet, but I've got a little storage tank there and a water wheel to provide that power just so that it never runs out and gets confused. And that all links into this chain drive here, which comes into a speed controller, and that goes into another chain drive which goes into these alternators, which then go through these little wires into these energy acceptors, and above those we're going to have some AE storage, like the power storage things. And it doesn't need to be like this. I can actually put those energy acceptors straight on the alternators, but I thought it looked more interesting like this. And in preparation for power, I've done a few other things as well, including putting a hole in the wall so we can get outside, and this portable fluid interface that the trucks can come up to and, well, offload the lava. And as you can see, I've started putting in a road network. I've also done the yard for our item storage building. I've also updated the crossing that goes to our liquid storage building, and over at the liquid storage building, I've also done a couple of other things in here. So what I've done is dug a hole in the floor with another hose pulley, pulling lava out of our infinite storage pit and putting it into that tank so that a truck can come along here, connect to that and fill it with lava. And in order to get a truck going, we've got to have rails. So I put in a little rail network for the secret underground rail bits for the truck. And I also did a whole bunch more mining because I was horrendously short of cobbled deep slate. I'm still quite short of blackstone, and I'm very short of mud, which we need to make the rough mud. So I can't really finish off the roads until I've got all of those ingredients. But cobbled deep slate's okay now because of the mining. And I've set up this little cobblestone haunter to actually give us blackstone. So we're getting a bunch of that through here now as well. So I just need mud. And as you all know, mud comes from putting water bottles on dirt, or using create, you can just put water and mud in a mixer. Now we've got a whole bunch of dirt just sat here doing nothing, so that's not a problem. And this is my liquid storage building, so I guess we could make an infinite water source in here and do it in here somewhere. I've got all of these rooms in this building just sitting here doing nothing. So we can take power across here without it interfering with anything, throw it into there, disguise it a little bit so it's not so ugly. But now all I need is a mixer with a bunch of water in it. And something like this should do the trick. We've got our dirt there. We're going to send that across these item drains into the mixer. We're going to send the mud out of there into this storage drawer. We've got a pump which is coming from an infinite water source. We just need power to that and power to that. And there we go, a little mud processing factory. And now we're going really fast. This is good. Look at that. Just chugging out mud very quickly. This is wonderful. And I'm probably going to need several thousand mud. So I guess I'm going to sit here for a while and just watch this create mud. That's a lot of mud. And it only took 2 hours. There we go. Now all I've got to do is turn it into rough mud. If only these tables from the chip mod were actually automatable, that would be wonderful, but they're not. And back on my test world, I've added a data pack that basically creates a recipe to allow me to press mud blocks into rough mud. I mean, it would probably make more sense to do it with a mechanical saw, and then you could set the right filter on it and chip whatever type of blocks you want, and that kind of makes sense to me. And just a few minutes later, I have now made a data pack that has almost 7,000 recipes in it for all of the chipped items. So once this is finished, if I was to put in, say, acacia planks in there, and I want them to come out of these herringbone acacia planks, just get rid of the rest of that mud, then that's going to happen, which is amazing. And let's say I wanted these light blue concrete things. I can just throw some light blue concrete in there and they're going to come out. What about cobblestone? Yep, the cobblestone works. And even doors work with this. If I throw in some dark oak doors and put a dark oak door filter on there, we can get those as well. And not just one type, we can get any different type we want. If you're interested in this data pack to automate the chip mod with Create, then let me know, and I might just share it with you. But for now, it's time to go back to my world and process a whole bunch of stuff. So back on the server, is this gonna work? I've set up my mechanical saws for trodden blackstone, rough mud, and trodden deep slate. I've set, ow, oh geez, that was painful. I set the filter on these to the right ones. Let's just flip them around and see what happens. Oh, wonderful. Look at it go. I'm crafting up the stuff without needing the workbenches. And I have got the stuff that works in the backpack as well, but that's just as irritating as doing it on one of the tables. This is much better. So a little while later, all of the roads are in, and I've tried to blend it in with the grass a little bit using some gravel variants and some coarse dirt and even some of the spiky grass stuff. So that means we're almost ready to build a truck to get it over there to actually drop off the lava, but in order to do that, I kind of need to figure out how the yard area for this is going to be, and I don't want it all just to be tarmac, like that one over there or like that one over there. I want this one to actually have walkways and paths and trees and things around it, so it looks kind of nice. So looking at the road network, this one is going to be for trucks that are actually going to be dropping items off for storage, and this yellow area here is going to be where all those are transferred into the system. The other side obviously being for where our lava's going to come in, and that's just going to end up going into that little tank there. And the reasons these yards are so big is so there's enough room for the trucks to actually turn around, get in place and get out again. So I am going to need a reasonable amount of room here for the trucks to be able to turn around and get back out again, as well as pathways and all. Oh geez, it's going to be difficult. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Well, it's not all finished yet, but I've done a few things around the area. For starters, I put a wall the whole way around the thing, and as you can see, we've got some yard areas with the tarmac. We've also got these little booths to basically control the vehicles coming in and out. You might even recognize this little cabin from earlier on in the season. In fact, it's from episode 2, when I built my little starter cabin thing. It's been modified slightly to make it more appropriate, but I thought having a little site office that you would come to with deliveries and stuff was quite realistic. I've added a little bit of pathwork around these areas with some doors to get into the buildings. We've got a little yard there, which I'll probably put some containers and things like that in there. And that's just the item storage side. Around the other side of the building, we've got something very similar going on with a little entrance way over here, which has still got a little bit of texturing to do on. We've got another yard, we've got some car parking spaces, and that means that I can now actually build a tanker and get it coming over here delivering lava, getting our power system sorted. Finally, let's just slap on the glass in here. And my idea with this, although I think it's going to have to change to do it, is to have systems in place with mechanical bearings, allowing these to actually turn round. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to get power to the mechanical bearings, and they're powered from the back, which means if I'm having one here as well for the other side, then they're both going to operate at the same time when I give them power. So this is probably too short. Probably needs to be another block longer, in which case all of this is going to have to change slightly. But that's fine. We'll get to that in a minute. First of all, I want to build a tanker, and I think I'm going to build it over here where I know it's going to fit and where I've got rail to actually start placing it. So let's pop down a station, and I guess it probably wants to be around about there. Put it into assemble mode to create a new train. And here it is, tanker number 1 is ready for action. It has 2 lava tanks in there. It's got the little storage interface at the back here so we can reverse up and get it. And it's got a completely separate cab from the rest of it, which means that when I drive it, it actually looks pretty realistic. Check this out. So when I turn the tanker, look, the entire thing turns with it. The whole thing works properly. This is absolutely incredible. So I can pull into this yard. I'll turn around there to line up, come through the wall a bit. Yeah, I need to fix the tracks and the stations. And then it will just have to reverse up to here, grab the lava from there. And I think the back wheels need to be sorted out a bit better. I'm not sure about those back wheels really, but it's fine for now. And then once it's finished loading up, it'll pull forward again so that it can get in line. It'll then reverse round the other way like that so that it can get going the way it needs to go, and then it's gonna come. No, you're doing it wrong. No, forward. All you gotta do is no, and then it'll go forward out of here, but I haven't set those tracks up yet, so I guess I should do that next. Oh, look at it filling up with lava. It's basically got 2 9x9 tanks in the middle of it, so it should be able to hold a fair bit, although it's very slow coming out. I might need to speed this up a bit. So I'm going to need a schedule, and I'm going to need a driver, and I want these things to have proper drivers, like the little conductors that we have, rather than monkeys or animals or something like that. So that means I need to go back to the snowy area, which is oh geez, what have I done? Which is apparently totally broken. All I can see is the entities, but no blocks. There we go. eventually. But anyway, we've got a lot of these little chaps here waiting to be collected to be taken to a new area. But unfortunately, the train that's going to be bringing them here hasn't got any carriages yet. So for now, I'm just going to grab one and take him over there. Hopefully, the hole in the ground over there will be fixed by the time I go by there next time. Well, I think I've sorted the schedule, and underneath I've put in a whole bunch of track and a whole bunch of stations, although I'm not sure if they're all in the right places yet, but we're going to find out in a minute. So let's get the driver into the cab. Oh, and I haven't given him any reverse controls, which means this isn't going to work at all. Oh, jeez. Hang on, sir. You need to come... Oh, jeez. Now we can get him back on his seat. And if I give him his schedule, the first place he's going to go to is straight ahead, hopefully. So off you go. Is it going to work? He's going to go there. Now we should hopefully reverse there, collect some lava, although I've only told him to wait there for a few seconds for now while we test this. Once he's been there for 10 seconds, he should come forward again, and then he should reverse back into the yard so that he can come out forwards. There he goes. Oh, it's not spinning in the middle anymore. I need to fix that, but oh, and now he can't find his way. How can you not find your way? You need to go to lava exit. You're on that track there, and lava exit... It's literally here. Oh. Oh, I haven't put the track in the middle, mate. There we go. That should help. Right, have your schedule back then. Let's see if you can actually do it this time. So, yeah, he's going towards the exit. This is good news. And I think I've got him driving on the wrong side of the road. Now, in the UK where I live, we do drive on the left-hand side of the road, but I thought I'd do this on the right. But clearly he's driving on the left, and there we go. He goes around that corner. He's going pretty speedy. Yeah, he's made it round that one. He's made it round that one. He should stop just before the barrier, hopefully. Needs to go a block back, but yeah, okay, should wait there till the man says that he can go through, and then he's going to go through. He should pull forward around here, then reverse into the lava pump, and it's probably going to go way too far into it. No, he needs to go a block back, and then once he's finished there, he should clear off again. So it looks like we're going to be driving on the left in this world, which is absolutely fine by me, because that's what it's like at home. You're copying Mr. Beardstone. He's just done trucks. Well, I know he has, but so have I. I did trucks, but he copied my truck. Oh, jeez. Make sure you watch everyone's before you decide who's copying who, okay? Well, it was looking better there. Obviously, the barriers don't open yet, but they will. What about this bit here? Is this going to look okay now? And yeah, that's just about right. Maybe it could be a little bit further back than that, but now we're getting lava in here. So the power station should kick into life in a minute. We've got lava in there. There we go. We are now generating power, which means we're generating electricity. Many of it. Oh, this is wonderful news. Okay, he should be fixed now, so I should be able to give him his schedule back, and he should now turn in the middle when he turns. Turn in the middle when he... Yes, turn. You know what I mean. Reverse, and there we go. That's what we want to see. And with a little bit of jiggery-pokery down here, I've now got these signals in place which now control the automatic doors. So as he makes his way here and he turns up to face that way, once he starts reversing past this point here, this door should open with a bit of luck. Let's check it out. There it goes. Look at that. Amazing. And then once he's filled up and he pulls away again, that's just going to automatically close, which is wonderful. Now what I need to make it do is not crash into those trains when it's at the crossing, so I need to sort that out, and I want to sort these little barriers out as well. Well, I think I've got these barriers working now, although I've had a few issues with glue just randomly sticking to things it's not supposed to. You see, I've only glued the pole to that bit there, nothing else, but for some reason it keeps sticking to all of this, and then all of that gets sort of inverted. But here we go, the lorry's here, it's opening up, he can drive through now. And then it's going to close again in a few seconds. But there we go. And now it's closing again. And this time it doesn't seem to have got stuck to anything, so that's good. It's open. It's going to drive through. Very nice. And then it should... There we go. That's better. Oh, wonderful. Okay, I think I've sorted this rail crossing out. Although it's a bit of a cheaty way of doing it, because rather than waiting for the train to actually leave for them to come up, I've just done it on a delay, which is fine. Let me demonstrate. If a train is on this section of the track, they should start coming down. That will also stop this van from being able to go past with a bit of luck. We should see the truck stop there until this is out of the way. If I move that out of the way, the truck can go. However, they haven't opened up yet. So I think I need to do a little bit more just to make sure that they don't go up until the train is gone. But I also need to make sure that the train doesn't go until they're down, because at the moment, the area of track that it's actually detecting trains on is this green bit here, which is not very big. And if a train's coming very quickly down this section here, they're not going to have time to close before it's got there. Now, I could make the entire section a whole bunch bigger, but then that means having redstone links absolutely everywhere all over this place. So I think this is just a game, it's just Minecraft. It doesn't have to be realistic. We'll just make it as good as we can, and then that'll do. And what I need to do next, now that we've got some power, is get that power routed around the building, stored up in vast quantities, and then start moving all of the stuff we've got for AE2 over here, and then start adding a whole bunch more to it. So each one of these is generating 360 FE per tick. I have no idea what that equates to in terms of AE, but in order to store a whole bunch of it, I'm going to need these dense energy cells. And if we head over to our temporary AE2 area, I've already got one of them behind there, but I need to grab all of this stuff anyway to move it over there, so I might as well demolish all of this, get it shifted, and then we can craft whatever we need to while we're over there. Alright, my first dense energy cell is going in. That's already got 1.6 million AE in it. And now I need to craft some more. There we go. 3 more dense energy cells to go in there, and they should all start filling in very quickly. And I need to run that into all of the different buildings, in all of the walls and everything like that. But there's no point in doing that until I know what I'm putting in and where I'm putting it. One place that I know that it definitely needs to go is in here, where our brain of the machine is going to be going. And in order to make that, I'm going to need the ME controllers, which are these crazy looking things. What am I missing? Skystone block. I gotta smelt it. Okay, so now I'm cooking some skystone up into skystone block, and while that's doing that, I need to get some of the inscribers set up over at the new lab. So let's hop over there again. I'm so glad I got these waystones. And now I need to consider which coloured area do I want to be processing stuff in, and I think we'll start with the red one, seeing so it's closest, and maybe we could get the inscribers set up in here. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I actually need to do in order to fully automate this inscriber process, because I want to fully automate the production of all of the different things. But for now, we'll just chuck a few down, get some power into them, and make the bits we need. And for power, I need a whole bunch more of this cable. Give me a load of those, please. Thank you. 342 should be fine for now. Let's get it out of here into our crawl space, and then figure out how I'm going to get small enough to get in here. There we go. Now I'm very small. What if you need to run 2 cables side by side? Then we're going to have a problem. This needs to go, I believe, down to one of these little bits here, if we're getting it over to that blue bit. So let's bring it across here. There we go. We have power in the room. Now I need to get myself a little knife so that I can craft up a bunch of these anchors. And with these anchors, I can make something called a facade. And I can make any type I want. And with these, I can cover up that mess, and no one would ever know. Now, is that going to be... Yeah, look at that. It's online. Now, if I put my inscribers along the wall like this instead of diagonally across the room, they should all get power from each other, which they have. Now I just need to process all the stuff with them. Now I'm spending all of my diamonds on these printed circuits. And then I can throw one of those in there with some of those and a bit of redstone. And now I'm getting engineering processors. Okay, with these engineering processors, I can now craft up these, I believe, 4 ME controllers. Now, I'm really hoping, really hoping that my design isn't completely useless, because I'm really hoping I can just put these in here. Oh, I need 8 of them, like that next to each other, but I don't know if I can. So let's go back to somewhere with a bit of power, and we'll maybe just run ourselves a little bit of a power test line over in this direction so that we can test a few things out. If I put one there we go, look at that. Now if I put those next to it, yes, they connect. Oh, that's good. So I need 4 more. And here we go, 4 more. Now if I put these on top of these, oh, look at that. One big old brain. Now we just need this where it's actually going to be living, which is right in here. And then I need to get power to it, and then it needs a bunch of cables on it to connect to everything else. Okay, I have a hole all the way through into this bit, and we've got a hole ready to go to our server room, so that's good. And then I need a hole all the way down the bottom. And then I just need to pipe this down this way, leaving myself plenty of room for other cables if I need them in future. Put the brain back on there. And for now, while I don't need any other cables, I'm just going to box in the rest of that with this, and then I'll make some facades to cover that up. Just like that. Lovely. No one would ever know. My bald eagle, what are you doing in the wall, friend? You're supposed to be keeping in charge of my power systems, making sure nobody steals it. Don't fall in the wall again. So why am I having power in the floor? To make it look nice, of course. Power the brain, go. Is it powered? It is! Oh, wonderful. So with the brain now in place and my bald eagle seemingly having wandered off somewhere. Oh jeez, where did he go? That could be his name, Ego. Ego! No, he's gone. It's time to craft up some servers and some terminals. Okay, I've crafted a terminal. That means I have access. But I don't think I can do anything with it yet, because we've got nowhere to store anything. And we're probably going to have terminals scattered all over this building, but unfortunately terminals do require one channel of AE channel stuff. And channels are going to get very complicated. This cable can carry up to 8 channels at once, and once you go over that, well, the other things stop working. So I'm going to have to be very careful with the cabling and how I do it. Now, at the moment, I am just using this very basic cable just to get basic power to things, but I'm going to be upgrading that to the thick, dense cable stuff and color coordinated in it all, and making sure that we don't have those sorts of problems. Now, I did craft up a big 256k storage component when we wanted to make our singularity, although apparently I only needed the 64k one, but that doesn't matter. And now I can make my first ME drive, which is going to be the start of our server rack, and they're going to be filled with a whole bunch of these 256k ME item storage cells, hopefully, which means I need one of those houses. Need a house? Yeah, I need it. I need a house, mate. And then I can get that. There we go. My eagle just went through the teleporter. I heard it. Why are you doing that, Eagle? No teleporting around, you weirdo. Anyway, I was in the middle of trying to figure out how to make these crazy cables. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, apparently. Did you just do it again? Where did you go? Which one did you go in? Oh, he's somewhere in the building. Oh, jeez, that bird's crazy. Oh, man. Who would do it? Bald eagles just warping around the place. Right, I want a bunch of those. And with a bunch of those, I can make a bunch of those. Jeez, this is expensive. And with a bunch of those, I can make a bunch of those. And with a bunch of those, I don't even have enough to make 8. Oh, jeez, this is so expensive. It's going to cost me a lot of wool. Good job I got a wool farm. You've got a wolf arm? Yeah, I've got an arm made of wolf. Yeah, okay. But now at least I can have a bunch of those. Nice, bright red ones. Wonderful. That's going to give us one set of cables from our brain. And that's going to come on there like that. And that needs to come all the way into our networking room. And I don't know how I'm going to lay this out yet. I haven't really thought that far through. I guess we could use a bit of stone to do that now. And I think having them maybe a couple of blocks apart in rows like this. And I guess this red one wants to come down to the front. And we just want to put our drive on there, stick our big old storage thingy in it, and we should probably have a terminal in here as well, really. Pop another one of those there and stick that on there. There we go. Can I put things in it? I can. I can put things in, guys. Oh, this is good. But my plan is in here to have a whole bunch of them. However, each one of these drives itself is going to cost one channel, so I don't know how many I'll be able to have on each one of these strips. But I'm sure we'll find out. Now, can I put facades on the floor? I can. Oh, and the connected textures work as well. I don't need to. I could quite easily come in from underneath, to be honest with you, which I think I'll do, because that's going to save me money. Save you money? It would save me on facade, mate. Facade, you. That didn't work second time round. First time it was funny, second time it's not funny. So what I'm going to do now, rather than boring you all to death with all of this different ME stuff, is I'm going to go into the cupboard, hop downstairs on a teleporter, and spend many, many hours off camera just getting all of this stuff set up and automated, because I'm sure you don't want boring to death with all of this cable routing and crafting, and it's going to be a long, boring process. So I'll be back when I've done loads, I guess. Well, realistically, I'm not much further along than I was before, but it's taken hours to get to where I'm at. As you can see in this room, we've got all of the inscribers set up now, and these are all fully automated. Each one's got a little redstone level emitter underneath that stops it when we get enough items in our system, and you can see I've been crafting up a whole bunch of items, and that's what's been taking so long. But we've now got an inscriber for all of the useful things that I need to produce, and it's eaten through an absolute ton of my diamonds. Before I started this, I had over 50 diamond blocks, and now I've just got 176 diamonds, which isn't ideal, but there we go. This is all running on this dense smart cable, and that dense smart cable allows up to 32 channels. Behind the wall, that then gets sent through a peer-to-peer tunnel into this normal smart cable, which can only take 8 channels, but because it's going through that, all of these 32 channels effectively just become 1. Which is very useful, because back up in the middle of the building where our brain is just below, I've had to put in all of these dense cables to connect to all of the different floors. So each floor's got its own color, and each section's going to have its own little peer-to-peer network, and I've even put our storage system on one of those as well, so that I can basically plug more things in without taking up all of the channels. And just making all of this cable itself itself has just took me ages, tons and tons of resources, and a lot of redstone and glowstone, which I've now pumped a whole bunch of this in here because I've made a farm. And that farm is over here at the snowy area. If you remember back a few episodes ago, in the top of this building, we actually had a little redstone farm, and that was just up these stairs all the way up here. But it's gone now because I moved it. I actually moved it down into this room below here because I've split it in two. This is now a redstone and a glowstone farm, although it is relatively manual. It's not automating getting any of the items in or getting any of them out. But here's how it works. We've got the nether wart going in there, which is creating awkward potion. That's getting pumped through into these two mixers. One of them's getting blaze powder, and that's turning into strength potion. And the other one is getting golden carrots, and that's getting turned into night vision. And golden carrots are easy to produce because I've got a whole ton of carrots, and in my backpack I've got a whole ton of gold. So I crafted up absolutely loads of them, stuck them in the machine, and then this cinder flower gets squirted on both sides. That gets turned into glowstone, and that gets turned into redstone. But as you can see, it's all stopped. And the reason it stopped is because, if I can get round to it, we've run out of fuel. See, these blaze burners all were running off coal, and my little coal barrels run out. Give me all that glowstone, and now give me all of that redstone. And getting on is exactly what I'm going to do next. Before I do a massive big jump into the future, though, with even more of this stuff done, what I really need is wireless access to this, because it's quite annoying having to keep coming back to these terminals, grabbing stuff, going off, and then coming back again. So I'm going to build a wireless terminal. And using my new fancy teleporter, I can get right back into the middle of here, which is going to be a useful spot for me to be able to get to. Right now, this wireless transmitter, I've no idea what the range is going to be like, but I kind of need it somewhere central, so I think put it in on there might be a good idea. Device is not linked. Do I just link it with that? Yeah, there we go. But this is going to need power. Let's just slap that there for a minute, shove that in there, get it charged up. And while that's charging, I should really think about making some of these boosters. Now, the problem is my storage is actually full. I can't put anything else in it, which is a bit of a problem, so we're going to need more drives. But is my charger now charged? It is. Excellent. Well, it's out of range. Oh my goodness me. Right, put the boosters in. Still only got a range of 24 meters. All right, I'll have a bunch more then. 47 meters. This is exactly why we needed that singularity, but I'm not ready for that yet, because that's going to give us, well, basically infinite range in any dimension. But yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. I just need to be able to use this around the factory bay. So can I actually use this here? Oh, I can. But at least I can use it in the vicinity of the factory now, so that's good. Can I use it in here? Yes, I can. A little while later, I've got another room done. This one is producing our Certus quartz. It's got 5 growth accelerators all the way around that flawless quartz, and we're using an annihilation plane that's enchanted with Fortune 3 to break them and then put them in this storage drawer here so that we're not wasting space on our storage disks. Likewise, we've got an amethyst one here, except for this one needs an observer to actually make sure it only breaks when it's at the full size, otherwise it just breaks any old size, which isn't ideal, but it's working. And I've also brought my glowstone and my redstone over here and put those in storage drawers as well to save on more space in the inventory, and these have got storage buses and export buses on there, so even if I put stuff straight into the system, it's going to get pushed out and put into these storage drawers. So I'm pretty happy with this little room. And the next room that we'll be going through to will be the yellow one, and this is where all of the items are going to be coming in from outside, and I'm not ready for that yet because we've only got 2 drives in the system and not enough space to put them all in. And that means that the last major room on this floor is going to be this one here, but this is part of our power network area, so I think at some point in the future, if we need more power, what I'm going to do is just fill it full of these things, which are the dense energy cells. So if that's all of the rooms on this floor accounted for, it's time to go up to the second floor and start working on some of these rooms. Oh, I've gone up to the wrong bit. That's not the second floor, mate, you moron. This is the second floor. Why are you using the angled rooms instead of the square ones? Well, the square one's got a lot of doors, you see, so there's not much space around it. And I kind of like the funky sort of angles we're getting on the diagonal ones, so that's why. So shut up. And the next part of my devious plan is now put together. We're now producing charged Certus quartz here, which is only going to produce 4,096. Once we've got that many in there, this will stop. And we're also producing Fluix crystal with the thanks to a bit of create. We've got a mixing bowl there. We've got an import bus chucking in redstone, quartz, and charged Fluix crystals. Again, if we get too many of those, it's going to stop, so we're not overproducing. Still need to produce this Fluix dust, which I can either do by crushing the stuff or by milling the stuff or just using another Inscriber. And I can probably squeeze an inscriber in next to this thing and make this room a little bit more symmetrical. And there we go. That wasn't too difficult at all. That's going to produce that fluix dust, and that's just going to get stored in here until, again, we got 4,096 of that, and then it's going to stop due to this nice little emitter thing down here. If you're wondering how these things work, we've basically got import and export buses on there, and that means that it gets items out of the storage system and then puts them back in again once it's finished producing them. And each one of these can be filtered to tell it what you want to do, and on the back we've got this little toggle bus, and what that does is basically stops power going into it once this little emitter at the bottom goes off, and that goes off once we've got the right number in the storage system. So it's all rather smart and rather clever. And what's really nice is my little terminal to access everything just goes on my belt slot here. Although it's nearly run out of power again. And I can just access it by pressing I on my keyboard and just having access to all of those things. The only downside to this compared to the backpacks is that the backpacks will actually allow you to pick up items that are on the floor. But that said, you can get a magnet card for this to do the same thing. But the thing I'm going to really miss from the backpacks is, let's say that I'm working with this and I want some more. Even if it's not in my inventory, if I middle click, I can refill straight from my backpack. And as far as I'm aware, there's no such function for that for Applied Energistics 2. So that means I'll probably end up carrying at least one backpack around with me with all of my very valuable things and maybe just stuff I'm building with at the time. But otherwise, I shall be using all of this stuff because it's amazing. The brain is evolving. As you can see, it just got a whole bunch bigger. And that's because I'm having issues with channels. Now, ME has this weird channel thing where you can only have a certain number of channels going down a certain number of cables. And once you've had too many things on it, it basically stops working. And in order to make most of the channels, we can use these peer-to-peer tunnels, which allow you to transfer a lot more. But you need multiple tunnels to have multiple channels. So by doing this design, I can now have 3 tunnels per cable, which means I can actually plug a whole bunch more stuff in. Now, there is a command to actually just get rid of channels altogether. And I was tempted to use that because this channel system's not really all that much fun, and I don't really think it adds a great deal to it, but I'm going to play it properly. So now what I got to do is link all of these channels with separate device IDs to the oh my, it's a nightmare. So connecting the blue one, I shift click on that, and then what I do is I go to somewhere that's got a bunch of devices, smash my way through the wall so I can get in, although I can actually reach it here, and then click on that, and then that connects this network to that particular interface. Now, I'm sure this is going over most people's heads. It's pretty much going over mine, so I'm just gonna take some time to sort all of this out, and I'll be back with you in a little while. And now that that's all sorted, I should show you the next room that I'm working on. We've got a mechanical crafter, which is creating the quartz glass, taking from the normal glass. We've also got some coal in here, which I've just dumped in. We're not actually generating that anywhere. And over here, we're creating silicon in this blast furnace, and we're creating skystone blocks in that one. And there we go. The room's all tidy now. That means this room is 100% complete. Time for the next room. Well, this room's fancy. We've got some auto crafting going on with these molecular assemblers. What we've got going on here is this little interface that says, I want a stack of each one of these holding in the inventory. And what that does is it then tells these crafting units to go ahead and start crafting them using these molecular assemblers. And these pattern providers on the top that have got patterns in basically pass the item straight into there for it to do it. And there you go. You can see that one crafting up a whole bunch of those fluix cables there. And they're going to all be getting turned into these cables here. Oh, this is all very good. So that means I'm always going to have a whole bunch of cable in stock when I need it. But it'll only ever keep 64 because, well, we don't need more than that. And you know what else I want this to make? These little cable anchors. And in order to do this, it's pretty easy. You come to the encoding terminal there, find yourself a recipe that you want and throw it into there. Although this wants a knife. Oh, can I not make those without a knife? Really? So I'll have a pattern encoder for the knife, and we'll just save that to that. There we go. And then we're going to need another one for the cable anchors. And I guess I can throw the knife one in there and the cable anchor one in there. And if I craft myself up one of these quartz knives, I can then put it in there and tell it that I want one. And cable anchors, I'm going to want 64 at a time. Now, you can't do any more than 64. You can only hold a stack at a time in these. But I could potentially have multiple of these with multiple stacks in. But 64 is going to be fine. There you go, little storage system. You've got loads of sticks now, so can it craft those things? It is doing. It's crafting knives, and it's crafting those. Oh, this is good. Look at it go. We've already got 64. Oh, wonderful. And this room might look very similar to the last, because it's pretty much identical. This time, though, instead of crafting up the cables, I'm crafting up the little storage thingamabobs. As you can see, it's currently on its way to being crafted in the 64K storage, but I guess it's probably run out of things to craft them with. We got no logic processors left. I'm gonna have to wait for those to come through until it starts crafting more, and that means that soon we'll be automatically processing 256K storage components, and this is currently completely empty, and that's because that's going to be generating our network cards. And as much as I could speed up the production of a whole bunch of these things by just adding in a whole bunch of accelerator cards and things like that, realistically, I only need it to do it once. I only need that storage system filling up once, and then we won't need any of this anymore, so I might as well just let this run in the background. Actually, do you know what? I might as well make a couple of accelerator cards and just get this... Oh, geez, it's diamonds. Of course it's diamonds. Well, in that case, we won't have many. Probably just enough to speed up this little area a little bit. So let's get all of these little presses sped up with a whole bunch of these accelerator cards. A little while later, and I'm now crafting the final 256K item storage cell for our first drive. That means we've now got 10 of them all together, which means we can store a whole bunch of things. And it means I can start working on the next one of these drives and slowly filling in this room. And that's not the only thing that I've done. I've also spent a little bit of time with Ego over in the power area. Where's he gone? He was in here. Well, anyway, I've added in a whole new boiler system and we're generating a whole bunch more AE again. Then if I click on the system, it shows that we're actually generating almost twice as much as we're using now, which is very nice. Have you gone down the hop? Why are you down there, Ego? I can't trust you at all, can I? Always trying to find yourself in places you shouldn't be. Just be careful.